All right, here we go. Early morning recording session. Fueled up on coffee. Let's see if we can make it through this. Here in Unity Game Engine, I'm going to go over a process where I've taken a 2D AI generated image and made it all the way to a fully rigged, animated, at this point possibly playable AI generated 3D character. And all of this has happened in a handful of clicks. Let's show what the results are. So here I'm in Unity, got my little first person controller, and here's my dude Pete. This is Pulsar Pete. Pete was a happy little accident from another project. I thought he was cool, so we're going to put him to work to show off some of these processes and possibly have Pete as a character. Well, he will be a character in a handful of projects that I'm working on. And you can see there's the 2D image that he came from over here on the wall. And this is him in all his glory. And you can see his textures are kind of wonky. We'll go over why that is and the fixes for it. But I just wanted to show this is raw output. This is all AI. Haven't done any sort of corrections. This is the raw process from just, anybody could do this at this point, as long as you have the internet and you have something that can run a game engine. All right, so let's go. Here's Pete and his origin story. Like I said, I was working on some posters for another project. These are actually products, and Pete fell out of this project, and I was like, let's do something with our boy. So here's where he lives in the store. He's our spokesman. So I'm like, okay, let's make him a spokesman. So I put him through an animation process. This is actually AI generated as well. This happens through a process called Viggle. And there's audio, and he's got his own dialect and all that kind of stuff, but got audio muted for social purposes. You don't get flagged. But I think Pete's even got a little spacecraft, and he's ready to rock and roll. So I was like, if I can get this far with Pete, what else could we do with Pete? And here's how we did Pete. This is Viggle. This is another AI tool. It's through a Discord channel, basically using rotoscope. So they feed a video and a photo, and then it just rotoscopes that on top. And most people are just using it for TikTok dances, but it lends itself really well. I've done some cool things with it, but that's how we got our boy Pete. And I'm like, all right, AI's doing some cool things. What else could we do with him? So if we get him in a character, we need Pete to be in an A pose or a T pose. So I run him through Leonardo, and Leonardo gave some interesting results at first. And I'm like, but we're onto something. And I really like this one. I want to do something cool. I want to animate this and do something cool with this eventually. Pete's going to have many faces before it's over with and be in many projects. But of course, we landed on this one. I'll call this one Pixar Pete. A little Pixar character, 3D rendering. It's going to lend itself well to the next step. And he's in the right pose too. That's the thing too, is you got to make sure that he's in an A pose, a T pose. It's got to be something that he just won't be welded together when he's done, so we can animate him. So about this time, Hyperhuman has launched this project called Rodin. They also have this thing called Chat Avatar. Something's wrong with that. Oh, because I don't have anything in that. That's why I'm on mine. Okay. Well, that's not important to what this is, anyways. So Rodin, and this is in a beta. So everything we do with this is being used as data that make the next version even better. And so far, these are solid results. The first Pete that I put together, I just fed it that simple image, went with the base prompt. I don't even think I did anything on the materials. Like, I just let it pull right from the picture. And of course, it does like some interpolation on the back, so it's guesswork. And it was kind of there's kind of dark shadows, so it not the best, but pretty solid for what it is. For just like 2 clicks, generate the geometry, generate the material. Left everything as default. Download. You could play with all of these and get as dialed in as you want to. Um, so then I brought the new version of Pete in. Same thing. I used the base prompt. I did go in and add a little bit trying to help out because I guess the first or 2 or 3 generations of those textures, and this one still, like I said, is not great. But the colors, the interpolation I did on the back, all of this is pretty solid. The top of the hat's good. I mean, it's pretty solid for 2 or 3 clicks. Same thing. Left most of the package at the base model, downloaded it, ready to go. Now the thing on his textures, because it's doing like a projection thing, like I guess I don't know what the camera position that it does or how it actually projects, but it reminds me of I played with some projection models, and that's what that reminds me of. And let's look at the texture real quick. The texture map is a mess, and this is the one problem with AI. If they could get this figured out, it would be money, but the texture map is just like a collage of madness. So you could take this into Photoshop or something, and if you could figure out this mess of where these pixels are basically um, put together, you could fix this. You could fix some of Pete's issues, like on the hat. Like here's all the hat issues right here. That's a simple fix. That's a super simple fix on the hat. His hand also right here, I can see part of his hand. You could fix that, and little things like that, and Pete would be ready to go. But that's it. Is You could also take Pete into Blender. Like say if this wasn't 1,000% perfect, or you weren't happy, like his fingers are messed up. So we could go into Blender and fix his finger. And that's the important part about this is getting 3/4 of the way done. Um, if you have Blender experience or you have 3D model experience, Maya, something out of nature, you could do anything that you want to with these. But to be able to get a character this far is mind blowing. So with some skill set, you can get it past this. But this is, like I said, Gen 1. Gen 2, we might not even have these issues, which is extremely, it's just amazing. So now they've got Pete, and Pete's functional. Let's get Pete animated. So you can drop Pete into Mixamo. Now I originally couldn't drop Pete into Mixamo. So he wouldn't get accepted for a reason, so I brought him into AccuRig, thinking I was going to be able to get him out of AccuRig. For some reason, I was having issues with AccuRig, but I was able to get his FBX out of AccuRig, and he had bones at that point. So dropped him into Mixamo. Mixamo understood what to do, and it's just because he's kind of a funky character. He's not your standard humanoid character. His proportions are kind of weird, and sometimes that happens. But he's ready to rock and roll. So at this point, you can literally just drop any of these animations on Pete, and Pete's ready to go. You can download him. You can download his animations. You take them into any program that you want to at this point to do what you want to do with Pete. I mean, Pete's a dancing fool. And that's basically it. That gets us here into Unity. Playable characters. And like I said, some work on the textures if the model was wonky. Some work on the model inside of Blender. But to go from 2D to 3D and a handful of clicks, it's absolutely amazing. I'm going to take this a bit further. I've got some other projects that I've worked on with AI as far as smart NPCs, and we're going to put Pete in a world, and we're going to be able to talk to Pete before it's over with. So stay tuned for that kind of stuff. If anybody has any questions, comments, this will possibly be across all of the socials. So uh, drop some questions, and also some any ideas, any ideas to push this any further. Anybody has any positive feedback, always looking for feedback. But I figured I'd just share this with everybody this morning. All right, that's it.